Congratulations, first of all, on all of your success.
Thank you.
And well, let's talk about Hick first because, wow, what a story, what a crazy movie.
It's a crazy movie, right?
Were you familiar with the book? Had you read it?
Do you know what? I wasn't. I was sent the script. I knew that Chloe was attached to it, so I read the script thinking of her playing that part and having seen her work and genuinely thought she is the most sort of staggering actress of a generation. I sort of read it with knowing that this person it's a coming of age story about this young girl, but the girl is not a victim. Despite going through horrific things, she has strength and her own will, and she's her own person. And as I read it, sort of imagining Chloe in it, I thought I'd love to be a part of that. And when I read the script, it was incredibly compelling. One moment I was laughing, the next moment I was disgusted, the next moment I was sort of crying. I started going, I don't know what this is, but I find it extraordinarily compelling. I couldn't believe that they were crazy enough to offer me this part, playing a Texan sort of cowboy meth addict James Dean wannabe, but I was like, I can't turn that down, right? Gotta go with
What
that.
a challenge.
It was a challenge.
Let's talk about that accent, because you've got that beautiful, lovely British accent, but then the Texas drawl, how did you get that?
Do you know what? It's called a very, very talented man called Michael Buster, who is a wonderful dialect coach. I did a film a couple of years ago with Kristen Stewart called The Yellow Handkerchief, and I was playing a guy from New Orleans, and I'd worked with a wonderful coach. And do you know what it is? It's about going over it again and again and again, learning it almost onomatopoeically, and then walking it around London with an iPod in your ear, talking to yourself, people thinking you're crazy. Not only is he talking to himself, but he's got this weird drawl going down. And anyway, I hope it... You can also, as a British actor, you can never tell whether it sounds right or good or not, but you hope you persuade people.
I'm not a Texan, but I think
Thank you very much.
You got it. Working with Chloe, let's go back to her because, wow, you're right. What do you say about this girl? But I wanted to know about, the camaraderie, how it affected your performances. Just working together was just wonderful to see this work.
It was really, really special. I think, as I say, I have this sort of... I came in with an amazing respect for her, having seen Kick-Ass, but the way that Derek Martini, the director, works is he makes the set incredibly safe and really encourages play. And the thing about Chloe is not only does she have the maturity, and that sounds condescending, and I don't mean the the intelligence of an actress 3 times her age, and amazing emotional integrity, but also she's a 14-year-old girl, so she has a caprice and a fun-loving a gentleness to her that meant that everything about the filming was serious in the work, but also really fun and playful in the spirit. And I think that was important because the relationship is odd and it's ambiguous, and they go from moments of being sort of brother and sister to being sort of quasi-lovers to being hating each other to being repelled and engaged. And so we had to find all those colours and also find something in him that meant that she kept getting back in the car despite all the stuff that in the that's sort of happening to her. So it was a real treat to watch. And I was saying before, but the thing about Chloe is I cannot wait to see what she's doing in 30 years' time. She's got real chops.
She totally does. I said that exact same thing to her. I said, where does this wisdom and maturity come from?
Yeah.
Because it's scary.
It is.
But yet she still could be playful.
Yeah. Well, that's the amazing thing. And I think that's what's interesting, because I also think the film is about that moment. I remember when I was a 13-year-old boy, I was sort of tiny, and girls were suddenly tall, and mature, and it's that moment of girl to adolescent to and particularly the stuff when she replicates films at the beginning. She's also a bit of an actress, this character, sort of, and so there's this whole thing of her not being entire, as an audience, hopefully you're going, oh my God, she's old for 13, and then you're like, oh no, she is fragile, and she is 13, and then and I think that Chloe has those qualities as well. She's someone that seems so confident, but actually is the most gentle-hearted and also I think that Eddie, the character, is also a kid in an adult's body, like, and he doesn't have the emotional maturity, so actually he's kind of intimidated by her, and you know.
It's great. It's a great combination. It really is. Okay, so Chloe tells us that you are the most amazing singer she's ever heard in her life, and I'm not kidding you. And we connected immediately because she told me that one of her favorite albums is Moulin Rouge, which I have to tell you, saw you and McGregor in the elevator yesterday, and told him why. I asked him why he hasn't cut an album. Honest to God, this is all coming together. So, you know, why are you hiding this voice from us?
I don't really have a great singing voice. I did a lot of singing when I was younger. She is referring to the fact that we were locked up in a truck for several months. And so the way that we would entertain ourselves when there are cameras attached to the truck so you can't get out between takes is that we would just blast Rihanna songs at each other. Her particular favourite was "I'm Just Going to Stand There and Watch You Burn." That's all right because I like the way it hurts, which was very odd. And she's also into Britney Spears, and I threw a bit of Taylor Swift in there, like a swerve ball of Back to September.
So we're not going to hear you sing today?
Sadly not.
Oh,
You're kidding. I'm getting sweat. I have this horrible sort of bodily function. If I get embarrassed, I just start sweating. And about 30 seconds ago, when you mentioned the notion of singing, I started sweating. So, where are we?
You can take your jacket off, get relaxed. Just a few more questions, and then I'm going to let you go because we've got so much going. I just do want to congratulate you on that Tony Award. And what was it like for you to hear your name being called, like, you know, in New York Broadway? That's a huge, huge honor. And it was your mother's birthday.
It
so
was.
You gave her what a birthday
I know.
present.
Do you know what? It was an amazing. I had the most amazing time on Red. It was the most wonderful experience. And when it got to the Tony Awards, the whole thing was completely beyond imagination. But it was my mum's birthday, and we were both sort of sat there. And I just find those things at awards ceremonies when the camera comes up and it's sort of lingering on you, and when you don't win, you sort of, so I'd give Mum sort of go, Mum, by the way, when we don't win, you can't, we have to sort of, you know, you can't be a sweet mother and go, darling, well, I thought you should have won, you know what I mean, because that's caught, so we just have to smile, and she's like, don't worry, I won't do anything. So I've watched back when the moment it was. It's so funny because you see my mum next to me. She can't even sort of smile because I've told her under no circumstances to react at all. And so she's like, I win, and I'm like, yes, and she's like, am I allowed to be happy? So it was the most amazing night. Alfred Molina is a dear friend and an amazing man, and I enjoyed it. It still feels unreal, actually. Yeah. What
do you get from being on a stage in front of a live audience like that? It can't be like anything else you do.
It's what's interesting about acting is you never get it right. Like, however you imagine something when you've read it or in your mind, you never say that line how you would imagine. And so the idea of getting an entire play right is impossible. Yeah. The horrible thing about film is you only have that day of filming the scene to get it right, and then you have to wait until the premiere yesterday when all you're doing is wincing at what you think you've done wrong. The great thing about theatre is, of course, you never get it right, but you can always go back the next night and try again. Mm-hmm. And that's when people go, why, you know, how do you do a run for that long? And the answer is you just keep aspiring to do something better. And I love mixing those two worlds, though, because they're totally different beasts.
An amazing opportunity for
you.
Quickly, My Week with Marilyn. Tell me a little bit about what you're doing in that. I can't wait to see that movie.
Good. Well, I hope you enjoy it. I had an extraordinary time on it. It's a film called My Week with Marilyn. It's a true story about a young man called Colin Clark who worked as a runner on a film called The Prince and the Showgirl, which Marilyn Monroe did with Laurence Olivier. So it was the greatest sort of superstar in the world, movie star, and the greatest actor, and it was meant to be a wonderful meeting of these two things. Sadly, the sparks flew in the wrong sort of way, and she was incredibly damaged at that time and turned up to set late. And anyway, this young guy works as a runner in that amazing way that on a film set, almost you're the lowest in the hierarchy, but you get access to everything. And so he saw her for who she really was, and she saw that in him, and they have this amazing little momentary affair. And it was with Michelle Williams, who is playing Marilyn Monroe, and Kenneth Branagh as Laurence Olivier, but also for me, a British cast of Dom Cooper, Judi Dench, Simon Russell Beale, Sir Derek Jacobi. It was every day I was on set, and these actors would come in for a few days' work, and for both Michelle and I think it was a real a really sort of extraordinary experience.
You're pinching yourself over these people you get to work with?
I am, yeah, always. Do you know what? The greatest thing, I sort of got into acting without going to drama school, and if you do that, you always think you're blagging it. You're kind of waiting to be found out. But the thing that I've said to myself when I started out was just, if you're lucky enough to work with good people, try and learn from them. And from the outset, whatever the quality of work, whether there's some hopefully good, some not so good, I've worked with people, extraordinary people, and gleaned as much from them as possible, and in that way been incredibly lucky. So.
Well, you are an incredible talent, and I know that
you.
we're going to be talking to you for years and years to come. It's been such a pleasure for me to meet you.
Oh, well.
Thank you again for waiting, and
Oh,
honestly, highlight of my day talking to you.
Oh, sweet.
Thank you so
much.
much. Do you mind if